take this moment to welcome everybody. I'm going to hand over to Mbali Jacobs as our MC for tonight. Mbali?
Okay, hello, everybody. I'd like to greet everybody. Can you hear me? Can we hear me?
Yes, Mbali, we can.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to greet everybody this evening and welcome you all to our YAWM seminar for today. The topic, the theme is a purpose-driven lady. For me, when I saw this theme, I thought this is very relevant to us, all of us, at least to me, and I'd like to hear more about this. So I'm very grateful to our leadership for being able to give us this opportunity to hear about this topic. The speaker for today will be Usustabongi Wembonge, and I'd like to hand over to her without wasting time.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm actually quite excited to be in this intimate conversation with the young people. One of the things that really excites me is the opportunity of having real conversations about things that really affect us, specifically and especially the YAWM. And to kind of use the platform and the time that we have to engage and interact with us. I'm going to introduce myself. I'll tell you a little bit more about myself just now. What I want to say is that get ready to use the chats. I think that one of the things I want to accomplish is to have a two-way dialogue, whereby at a certain point in time in the slides, I'm going to invite you to share or to answer certain questions using the chats. And then I will use that as an interactive platform. What excites me the most in having prepared something like this is that I've prepped and then paused last night. And I called on two of my young friends. One of them is here, lady. And I said, lady, if somebody asked you to contribute on, if you saw this poster, I shared the poster with her, what are some of the things that you would hope would be addressed in this conversation that for you to walk away and say, actually, it was valuable? And I reached out to another friend, Urivoningwe. I asked her the same question and they gave me contributions. And what made me happy, at least, is that about 60 to 70% of their contributions featured in what I had prepared. It's quite important for me. So because I'm now, I turned 40 this year, just 2 months ago. So I don't want to be irrelevant in talking to somebody who's 20 something or early 30s and find that actually what I thought mattered no longer matters. So on that point, before I tell you a little bit more about myself, I think let's pray as we are getting started, wherever we are. Let's bow our heads and close our eyes. Heavenly Father, gracious God, what a time to be alive. What a time for you to have selected us in order to be alive in 2020 during this time. Surely, the plans that you have for us, you have enabled us so that we can not only make it, but be more than conquerors, more than overcomers. So therefore, use even this time to just mold us in terms of our thoughts and our actions and our feelings so that we may come out of this closer to you. This is our prayer in Jesus' name, amen. Yeah, so for those who can activate the videos, I'd love to see your faces. If it's a matter of data, I'd understand if you keep them off. but if you can, I'd really invite you to let your faces shine. I prepared a presentation because I thought, you know what, it's quite, what would I like, how would I like to be engaged on a platform like this? It would help me when I'm listening to something to actually see slides. So I'm gonna activate that not too long from now. And I'm just looking for the share screen. Okay, great. I'm just gonna share my screen. There we go, there we go. Can you see that? Thumbs up. You can use a thumbs up if you can see it. Can you see my screen? Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much. So, my name is Bongiwe. I am what I call a typical Cape Townian. My grandparents lived in Kwalanga, up in Cape Town. By the time I was born, they were staying in Ekuguletu. So we spent the first 12 years living there. When we were about 12, my mother bought a house at Kaidija and we moved. I really hated it. I hated having to be uprooted and make new friends and start over again on the social landscape. But perhaps it's exactly what we needed to kind of slow down our lives as we were growing up. So I am one of 5 siblings. I have an older sister and 3 brothers. And I'm married to Ulungile Mbunge, known as Obo, and we have 2 girls. One is 8, Kazimla, and another 4, Ukwezilonso. And we live in Cape Town. So one of the things that I love is reflection time. I don't get a lot of it because I'm a mom, I work, married, and. So, but I always try to find time to actually engage with what I like. My favorite color is green. So I'm wearing my favorite color today. I love the lens of looking at life from a different perspective every now and again. Those are one of the things I enjoy. So that's a little bit about myself. I thought it would be nice to kind of get to have that reflection on a personal level. I'm not here to share my bio with you. This is not a professional engagement, but I'm sure if you Googled me, you could find everything you need to know about what I do. So, purpose-driven lady, this is what we are talking about today. And the first thing we're going to do is a check-in. This is where you come in as well. I want you to use the chat box, come get into the comments. And what is your current state of mind? I want you to register a feeling or a thought or a word that really captures your state of mind right now. And I'm looking forward to your chats there. I can see the eyes are looking down and you're busy typing. That's incredible. So I wanna have a look at the chats and see what are you saying in terms of what your current state is at present. So feel free to keep using that. I think there's about 2 or so places in the presentation that I will want to get your inputs and for you to share your ideas. I'm trying to have a look at the chats to see what's coming up. I'm in the wrong chats. Okay, I think I'm not able to see it right now because I'm sharing my screen. Come on, come on, come on. Then I want to look at chats. Ah, there we go. There we go. Frustrated, content. I'm not going to mention anyone's name, you can see. And if you feel like responding specifically to me, you can do that as well. I won't mention your name. I'll just say anonymous further down the line. Content, I felt inspired, overwhelmed, emotionally exhausted. Oh my goodness, blessed, so overwhelmed, so tired, trying to stay positive. So those are some of the emotions stuck. Those are some of the emotions that we are registering right now. And what I can say to start with is that when I came into the lockdown period, I was excited. I was excited because I felt that I'm at a point in my life where I need to pause. I need to do away with routine and rushing. You know, if I wake up in a rush, I prepare lunch boxes, I make porridge, shower, I wake people up, I get them ready, I bark orders as I'm trying to get everyone out of the door in time so that I can go drop off at school. And by the time I actually park in my office, I sigh and I'm like, feels like I've run a marathon, but my day is only getting started. So I can relate to those feelings. So when I came into lockdown, I was looking forward to not driving anywhere, to not rushing, to not having to rush my kids to get ready for school, etc., etc. So hence, I really loved it. For the first few weeks, I felt like I was thriving. I was in front of my computer. I was doing so many things. I could achieve so many things. I could make so many meetings, etc., etc. And about 2.5 weeks ago, that's when I hit my down moment. For about 2 days, I just battled. I was overwhelmed with technology. I just felt like I had to take a pause. I spent the weekend without screen time. I didn't engage with anything, and I felt really overwhelmed. So why am I sharing that? It's because even the most upbeat, optimistic, bright people have those moments too. So whichever part of the trend you are in right now, whether it's up or down, it doesn't last. But it's also not going to go away just on its own. What helped me get out of that again and refocus and channel my energies differently, I became quite intentional about my habits on how I start and how I end my day. This year, I'm reading the devotion of In Heavenly Places for the third year in a row. I love it. It's nice and short, so I went back into my routine. I read what is there for the day. I go into the lesson study. I read a story abstractly, and I spend time thinking about those things, and that's how I fall asleep after I pray. So that really calmed me down, and it improved my sleep. It improved my rest quality, and I really started to be on the upbeat again. So it's easier to be positive for me when I have a routine like that going. So thank you for contributing to the chats there and really registering and pinning the check-in time, check-in the space that you are in. So when I was preparing, I spent quite a ample time looking at different texts and says what really speaks to us, what really speaks to the topic right now. And this stuck with me. And I can't remember precisely what led me to the text. But what I know for sure is that one of my kids' memory verses is Psalm 139, verse 14 for about 2 years now. And it says, I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and my soul knows that very well. So because I've had to help them memorize it, I've memorized it. But when I went to the text, I was quite taken aback to start from verse 13. And that's what you see on screen here now. For you formed me. For you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. And I thought, whoa, that's quite, it's not the first time I come into interaction with this text, but I never paired the two together. And then it comes to verse 14 that says, I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and my soul knows that very well. 15 my frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. This is talking about each and every one of us in the context of God the Creator. Actually, verse 16 says, your eyes saw my unformed substance. So in everything that I've actually gone through as a person, that you've gone through as a person, God has seen it all along. And yet what blows my mind is that he decided still, no, Bongiwe needs to come into this earth. He saw the bad decisions that I would make. And he still said, no, she can still have a place to a critical role to play here. And this is how I'll be meeting her every step of the way. And so on that note, what really settles with me at this present time is that God knows us better than ourselves, and he still loves us. And more than loving us, he continues to navigate in our spaces so that we can actually become who we ought to become and reach the depths and the levels for what he has purposed us for. And that's really quite incredible. We can spend a lot of time talking about that text and actually unpacking it and reviewing some of the decisions that we had made in our own lives, which have not been hidden from God. But the beauty is that once we've come to him and we've actually confessed those sins, he forgives us and he puts it behind him in the past. So it's no longer a thing. But the devil is very crafty to make us dwell on those points so that we may actually not progress as we should. So my challenge for us is that, please, when you've asked for forgiveness, forgive yourself first and move on. Don't look too much into the past, just continue looking forward. As we start our conversation, this really grabbed me. It didn't just grab me. I went looking for it because I remember seeing it from one of my friends, I think sometime last year. And I thought it fitted in quite well in what we're talking about. Now it says, she remembered who she was and the game changed. You know what's a game changer? Yes? Yeah. So the game changes when we remember who we are. When we actually realize, oh my goodness, I'm actually so much more than what I had convinced myself to be. I'm actually meant for so much greater things than what I'm actually just scratching the surface on. I can do so much more. I can become so much more. But the narrative is useless when you don't buy into your own brand. And I don't have time to go into personal brand, and it's not my area of expertise. Neither have I researched it deeply, but what I know for sure, when you authentically believe in yourself and yourself as a core, it shows up in the way you talk to us. It shows up in how you walk. It shows up in your posture. It shows up in everything that you do. And whilst you think that maybe your lack of confidence is not evident to us all, it is staring us in the face. While you're saying, oh no, I can do that comfortably, your walk is not in synergy with that. We pick up on that vibe. So when we remember who we are, the game changes. It just shifts from pillar to post, and everything about us just takes a new form and a new direction. I know what it's like to lack confidence. And one of the things I'll share with you on I think it's the second point. I only have 3 points I'm going to make today, and that's what we're going to do. On the second point, I will share about some of that. So I really want to say on that when we are clear on our identity and when we are clear on who we are, it permeates on absolutely everything that we stand for. So change the game. Change the game by remembering who you are. And we're going to talk about that. So I thought I'd be a little bit creative and assemble my points in terms of images. Because we sometimes forget words, we sometimes forget things, but I thought, let me put up 3 images for you. And I want the first one is a no-brainer because it's spelled out for you in terms of values. But I want us to, can you guess what the third one is? These guys who are seeming to be connecting, can you guess that point? Use the chat box. And the values is clear. I want you to guess the one with the blue man and the orange man. I'm calling them men because they look like men, but don't let that bother you. Use the chat. Tell me, what do you think that point is? I've got only 3 points I'm going to dwell on. The first one is the values. I'll come to the second one just now. What is the third one? Okay, frequency exchange, sharing ideas, brainstorming. Your circle. Can you elaborate on that, Sia? What do you mean? What do you mean? Your circle. Somebody else? Come on, young people, let those fingers run. I want to see more pop-ups there. What do you think that point speaks to? Don't afraid to be wrong. Influencing each other, that's what Masquer says. Thoughts, common understanding. Beautiful, yeah? Interacting with like-minded people. Okay. Any other takers? Okay, let's proceed. So yeah, some of you have got that right. Those you allow into your space have an influence on your mindset. Great. Light providing life, heartbeat. I love these. It is speaking to influence. And some of you nailed it. Some of you nailed it 200%. Some of you nailed it like 70%. But I think there's an interconnectedness in all the comments that you've said on here, which is fantastic. Yes, it is influence. The second one with is quite telling, with the laptop and glasses and your phone and your lamp and your desk. You know, that's your ambition, your career. So the 3 things we're going to touch on is that value system, your ambition in your career, and we're going to unpack all of the 3, and as well as your influence. So I hope you're starting to be excited. Value system. I want you to use the chat while I'm unpacking the values to let me know what your personal values are. And if you haven't thought about it, you don't have them, I want you to say that. You don't have them, or you haven't handpicked them. YAWM, Y6, 2019, please mute yourself. So use the group chat and let me know what your what set of values are. And don't be shy to say that you don't have, if you don't. That's also quite important for me to get an indication on what are your value systems. Why is important? I've thought long and hard about some of the things that are amplifiers in our lives. Amplifiers are the things that take us closer towards our goals quickly, and they've got a certain level of clarity. And I've also thought about long and hard about detractors in our lives. Detractors are the things that I'm heading down the N1, I'm going towards Somerset West. However, there's a detour somewhere and I'm taking it. That's a detractor. It's something that deviates you from your big goal, big plan. So, and I thought, you know what can be the thing that really anchors us? What can anchor us in this? Because I evaluated my own life and I thought, what is the fiber that actually keeps it all together? And this is how I landed on the set of values. And while I'm unpacking why it's important, I see some values there. I'm going to come to them now. Keep them coming. I'm going to come back to you. Is that it impacts the quality or the weakness in our decision making. Our decisions are heavily influenced by the clarity of our values. I'm going to say that a different way. When you are not clear about what your values are, you will take a long time to make a decision on anything. I'll give an example. Here you are walking into, let me not use that example. Let me use another example. Here are two guys that are pursuing you. And you're kind of like thinking, am I interested? Or am I not interested? Your set of values is going to determine toward which option you are actually leaning more to. When you take a long time to actually land at that, it means that you are not really clear about your set of values. It's not crystal clear to you. Therefore, because of that blurred line, or you haven't thought it through, it's actually confusing your decision making. And I'll dwell on why that is important, to have clarity on decision making. So I'm going to the chat and I'm seeing some wonderful values there. Fairness, justice, integrity, faith, resilience, appreciation. Do unto others as you would like them to do unto you. Communication, integrity, faithfulness, honesty. Beautiful. Achievement, courage, friendship, health, integrity, adventure, love, simplicity, in no specific order. I love those. What we had done is that, as a family, we kind of thought, let's craft our family values. These are the things that's going to influence how we raise our children, how we interact with each other, how we take decisions together. Because now it's no longer a thing of, I can just do what I like in isolation. There has to be synergy and buy-in. And our family values are kindness, curiosity, excellence, service to others, and courage. So those are our family values, the 5 of them. And in everything that we do and how we interact and maybe teach our children certain things, those are coming under scrutiny, those are being challenged, but those are also interplayed. And therefore, this becomes quite an important frame of mind, a reference point for us, because it frames the path that we are going to take and the path that we are not going to take. And that's quite important. That's quite important to us. So therefore, in everything that we do, whatever it is, it's influenced out of those. It's birthed out of those. If I want to have a CSI project, of some kind, it will align to these values. It's either going to be service to others or kindness or a combination of those, or curiosity or excellence. It informs how I do things. So therefore, it also informs, it empowers others, like our children. They are just 8 and 5, but it gives them courage and power. Let me make an example. So our older one, when she was at kindergarten, she's a softie. Her personality is that she's quite brave, but she's quietly confident. She's very shy, and therefore, if somebody does something she doesn't like, she's gonna tell the teacher, or she's gonna tell the teacher and then come tell mom or dad, so and so did something I didn't like. At best, all she's gonna say as a response is that no. I said to them they must stop it. Somebody threw sand in my hair and whatever. Not what did you do? No, I said they must stop it. Okay, fabulous. And I remember in those years, I was getting quite agitated with that answer, and I was like, I'm looking for the boom, and I'm like, stand up for yourself, otherwise people are gonna start picking on you and whatever not. And my sense of advice to her, which I would not give to our smaller one because she's very feisty, she'll action it, was that when those boys are being nasty to you, form your fist like this and aim for the nose and punch them. She would giggle. Mama. And every time she'd come with me with a complaint like that or whatever, I'd say, did I tell you form your fist like this, aim for this, and punch, and she would giggle. She really wouldn't take me seriously. I stopped giving that advice one day when she said to me, "But Mama, does Jesus like that?" And I just like, I didn't answer because I didn't have an answer. But that was the day that I stopped giving that advice, you know, to say, do that. So it also builds, you know, an accountability, because then the frame is quite clear. This is what we do. This is what we don't do. This is what we believe in. This is what we don't believe in. And therefore it sets the frame for those. So really it kept my accountability as a person, and it informed how we navigated that conversation going forward. Ambition, why did I select this? Because as we grow more mature, we get ourselves into situations whereby we are either entrepreneurial and we're pursuing that ambition, or we are employed. Irrespective, or you are a professional student, you know, those people you study, or you just don't work, you study all the time. So so therefore really what I love about the ambition is that suddenly your time is limited into all these other beautiful things that you want to achieve in life. Here you are trading off anything between 10 to 12 to 14 hours, if you include even the traveling time of things when things are normal. That is no longer dictated by what you want to do, but you are then in pursuit of your ambition, basically. This is something that I love to talk to young people about, because it's the thing that if you get this wrong, your entire life is derailed. No amount of money is going to compensate for you doing a job you absolutely hate. You're gonna struggle to get up in the morning. You're gonna be a mediocre, because as soon as you're out of work, that thing is out of your mind. Your peers are going to outshine you. You're gonna jump from job to job because you're not fulfilled, you're not inspired, you hate it, and you think something's wrong with the other party. But when you actually have fallen into the trap of pursuing a career that is not aligned to your passion. And that is the saddest point to be in. I've been there. I've spent 12 years in accounting and external audit, and then I wanted to transition into consulting. So I got an opportunity to transition into consulting. I still moved with my technical accounting into consulting, and I was then consulting on IFRS accounting standards for private and public sector, et cetera, and getting that off the ground. You know, it sounded very, very prestigious. I'm a consultant, I'm going to do this. But I transitioned so quickly that I didn't apply myself. What exactly in consulting do I want to do? So therefore somebody else saw me and thought, this is a fit for you. And here I was grinding away, and it was sapping at my energy. 18 months into the role, I woke up and I said, I'm not getting up easy in the morning. The days are long. The hustle is hard. This is not it. Something has got to shift and change. I had to come to that realization, but can you imagine the pain of being in that position for 18 months, a year and a half? It's a total waste of life, and I will never get it back. But I can draw a lesson from it to say, I better never do that again. And I realized that when I transitioned into the consulting space I'm in now, my entire life changed. I would think about my work even when I'm chopping onions, preparing dinner. I think about it over the weekend. I talk to my friends about it. You know, I just want to talk about what I do. It's so incredible. You know, I don't have an alarm in the morning, guys. I just get up. And I feel sometimes intruded by Fridays. Like, oh, I'm not ready for this. You know, I love it. I love what I do. I can do it all the time. That also meant I had to put some parameters in place, because if I start working or looking at my emails or doing something like this time, I won't fall asleep because my excitement levels just go off the charts and I can't switch my mind off. So therefore I have to get a discipline for that as well. But what is beautiful is that each and every day of my life, I'm perfecting my craft. I'm like nailing it. I'm thinking about it all the time. I'm producing thought leadership. I'm writing articles. Somebody wants to interview me in terms of a radio ad or a TV. Or somebody is sitting in. I was talking to colleagues today from France and Netherlands, Germany, and the USA and Egypt. And you can't stop my shine. Out of the call, there's literally 3 things that they want me from a South African perspective to action, because it's not a labor point for me. Everything I was saying is like a fresh wave for them. Oh, you said it so beautifully. Oh, can I connect you with this? Can you do an interview for this? And whatever, not. It's effortless. It's effortless because I've just landed in a position whereby I'm connecting my passion with my abilities, and it seems effortless. Is it a bed of roses every day? No. Every job has got its points and challenges and whatever not. But my challenges don't keep me up at night. They don't make my spirit restless, and therefore it is something that is a beauty to always carry forward and transition. So therefore, it allows me to think outside the perimeters of fear. Fear is quite important, I think, in the conversation that we are having, because too many times fear has stopped many dreams even before they had started. You've been too afraid because you're unclear about your values and you doubt yourself. When you doubt yourself, chances of you getting to the big, scary goal that you put for yourself are very limited. Or sometimes you're already on this path and you're thinking, it's too late now. I've spent resources from home. I've studied this course and I'm in this now. And, you know, there's others that need to get a chance that are coming behind me. So I'm basically, this is my life. I must just, you know, put up with it. Not at all. There's always an avenue of exploring. But what we have to clarify, what do you have at your disposal to transition? Do you have time? Do you have energy? Can you read? Can you really invest in yourself? What do you need in order to invest in yourself to get to where you need to be? All I'm encouraging when it comes to this point, be relentless to pursue your passion. It is going to change your life. It's going to change your big frame. It's going to affect all your relationships. When your friends are out there sipping their juices and sparkling and taking pictures and uploading, you're going to do it from a position of authenticity. And when you're authentically happy, it shows. You don't need to put your hair in a different hairstyle. Your afro is sufficient. You have a natural glow, you know, and you're just flourishing effortlessly. And you are comfortable. There's a beauty with regards to comfort, because you're comfortable because you've bought into your inner self. One of the things that I'm coming to influence now, and as I transition to influence, is that one of the things that really stood out for me, I'm trying to think when it was, 3 years ago, beginning of 2018, Yes. I can't remember 3 years ago when it was. It's 2020 now. Yes. Beginning of 2018, I think. One of the things that I was battling with personally was to sell this notion of love yourself to my kids. They just wanted a ponytail. They want to wangle their hair. And I'm looking at their afros and thinking, I'm anything but a magician. There's no way I can turn that afro into a ponytail. Even whatever I can do. And then I started to reflect and introspect and thought, must I look at myself and see me through their eyes? Am I depicting what I'm encouraging them to do? And that's when I decided to cut my hair. I cut my hair so short. I wore my natural afro for months. And it was a long shot of selling them the notion that, look at me, you think I'm beautiful, I am, and this is me, I'm comfortable with this. And I remember that one of our girls was struggling with that very notion, that lack of self-confidence, etc., etc. And I was encouraging her quite a lot. But what I want to drive is that even if you're not there yet, you need to be consistently working towards it in the pursuit of what you know for sure is going to translate. A few months ago, I'm in the morning rush, going to the girls, dropping them off. We are a little bit, 5 minutes late. We're not late yet, but we left 5 minutes later than our normal time. And as we're driving, the big one is anxious. She's like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be late. The bell is going to ring. I'm like, calm down. We're just 2 blocks away from school. There's no way you're going to be late. There's traffic, but we're going to make it. And the little one is like chilling at the back. And what we do every morning as we're driving to school is that we take turns in praying in the car. But our prayers are affirmative. Thank you, Jesus, that I am kind, that I'm having a wonderful day, that I am your child. Thank you, Jesus, that I walk with my angel, that I'm aware that you are always around me. Thank you, Lord, that I'm brave. And so those are the words that we use, and we take turns between the 3 of us. So that thing drums into their minds. And how I've decorated their room, even I've put up on the wall, happy girls are the prettiest girls. I've put up there things that are dare to be different, little things that are driving their point home. One of the things I've put up is I can, I will, end of story. So these are the things that I play, and it speaks to our value of courage, because I want them to be courageous in life. Do it afraid. That's the tagline. So we drive to school, we get there in time, we get out, and she's in the gate. We always have to hang around the fence until that's one of her requirements. So we're hanging around the fence, and she sees somebody that she knows, says, Mama, is that Hannah? I said, yeah, that's Hannah. Go say hello to her. Now, Hannah is a sibling to one of the boys that she had gone to school with 2 years earlier. So, but, we had made a play date for all of them. So she knows who Hannah is, and Hannah knows who she might have forgotten. So I said, go and say hello to Hannah. So she said, ooh, no. What if she doesn't remember me? Then I said, you just tell her, do you remember me? I'm Kazimla, Now, I know she's very shy. So she goes up to Hannah and she comes back. She's like, no, I can't do it. And I'm like, okay. So I encourage her again. Just tap her on the shoulder and greet her and say, you're Kazimla, and then that's it. She goes again. She stands there, she hovers around Hannah, and I could feel my temperature going up, because I don't understand why she just doesn't do it, but I understand how shy she is. She comes back again. And then, she's like, oh no, I'll do it next time, Mama. The little one says, Boo, come here. And she comes closer to the fence. And she says, You have not been given the spirit of fear. You've been given the spirit of power and a sound mind. You can do it. Go, go, boo, boo, go. And I was like, amazed. I was blown. I was like, what just happened? Because whenever we're doing scripture and lessons, Kazimla's the attentive one. She's the diligent, easy child. Sosa's the one that's playing with her dolls and pretending like you don't exist. She doesn't hear you. And this is not a verse I was driving to her directly, but it's a text that we keep emphasizing. What is my point? The small seeds that you sow, God multiplies. Just when you think like, what, this is just all for nothing, there goes so singing a verse, and you kind of like at the appropriate time, at the critical time. So I turned to her and I says, wow, well done. And I was like, I couldn't hide my excitement. And then I turned to Kazimla and I said, well done to you too. But she said, but I didn't do it, Mama. And I said, you put yourself in an uncomfortable position 3 times. Now that is incredible. That's what we mean by being courageous. 3 times you put yourself in an uncomfortable position. And I said, well done, girl. Both girls happy. Fantastic. If you don't embrace discomfort, you will not grow. You will not experience exponential growth, and you will not achieve big, scary goals. Yeah, you will make it, but you might just remain a mediocre because you are afraid of putting yourself outside your position of comfort. Bloom where you are planted is my point. So therefore, the state of influence is incredible. And what this says to me is that many a times we inherit voices, we inherit friends. Oh, she's a friend of my friend, or she's my friend, we just hang together. We inherit a social circle. When was the last time you took a stock count in terms of the value that lies with each of your friends? Have you ever done it? Why not? Because the voices about us, whether we like it or not, they influence us. Slowly but surely, they are chirping at something that is either towards our core or away from it. They can be an amplifying voice or a detractor. The devil is not going to come down from heaven with a fork in his hand and naked like we usually visualized when we were young and like spinning us and like with that fork. No. He uses the voices around us to actually achieve his mission. But so does God. God talks to us to our ability, our intellect, and he also uses the voices about us. So if you don't carefully sift your friend base, you are not going to have the privilege of knowing for sure that these are the voices that speak life into my life, that add positivity, that take me closer to the goal. You might be afraid because what if you lose friends, and what if you lose admirers, etc., etc. One of the other big influences is that one of the mistakes that are irreparable is marrying the wrong guy. That influence is so far reaching into your life. It's going to establish so many things. If you have to talk about whether you're going to return a faithful tithe or not, you are in the wrong relationship. If you are going to talk about other people, you're in the wrong relationship. If you are going to be naysayers and gossipers together, or you encourage each other to do the wrong thing, you encourage each other to pursue the wrong thing, you are heading for destruction. I cannot emphasize it enough. Can you imagine now being married to the wrong person in lockdown? It must be painful. It must be, I can't even begin to imagine. For people who like each other and who buy into each other and love each other, it's challenging, you know, because the stuff here to be done, we need to work, we need to homeschool, so therefore we need to work together. And if now that we're not going physically to church, there is a discussion to not return a faithful tithe, it's eating back at our core value system. There are non-negotiables. If you're dating someone who's pressurizing you to sleep with them, your values are misaligned. Walk away. If you're going out with someone and they're pressurizing you to live together, your values are misaligned. Walk away. It's difficult to lose admirers. I was there too. It's difficult. You know, these guys are pursuing you. Oh my goodness. Oh, this church. Oh, there's another one. But when you say no long enough, they start dropping off. And you might just realize, oh my goodness, I missed their attention. But you got to be able to feed your soul with something broader than just superficial value, but that actually adds to your core. So therefore, use your values to influence those voices, is my point. Because if you're not in control of those voices, you can be led astray. I don't even have time to get into the depths of social media, but it is a very powerful voice. It's where you see a portion of what is truly there, if it is there at all. One of the pitfalls that young people often get entangled with is having kids before they get married. Because, well, you know what, it's so cute. You see us, our children are sparkling, you know, it looks prim and proper, families love this here, hashtags, oh, we love this. But what we don't share enough of is a struggle. I haven't slept to my heart's content in 8 years. Since I started having kids, I don't get up because I'm done with sleep. It's because somebody wakes me up. It's like, mama, and I have to, you are awake. And the quality of your sleep is no longer the same forever, probably. You have these people that you pray for, and it's not a burden, it's not a load, but it's a reality. You've got so many other things to care for. There's so much work that goes with having children. But have I posted a picture of my lounge in total disarray because the toys are everywhere and it's so messed up? Have I posted that on social media? Those are things you don't see that will work on your nerves, waking up earlier, organizing yourself, prepping meals, and all of those things add up. And if you're doing it as a single parent, it's twice as hard. It's not ideal. I've cried many times when I was raising my kids. I don't like infants, but there's no way I can just get a child when they're 3 years old. I love them from 3 years old. But the fact of the matter, I had to birth them. I had to live through that. And it was undesirable because you can't figure out what they want. They have colic, they're crying, you crying. It's a mess. It's a mess. So it was never meant to be done alone. So influence is going to let you know what is permissible, what is acceptable, and what is not acceptable. And this is the very thing that really pieces all of these things together. We live in such an interconnected world. Ideally, we're supposed to lean in on each other and draw strength and courage for each other, stand in the gap for each other, pray for each other, encourage each other, cheerlead for each other, pick each other up when we are down, and when you are looking downwards, motivate each other and kind of like, hey, let's keep going because the race is not done. We're not there yet. Fact of the matter, somewhere, somehow, that picture gets fragmented and it gets depleted and it saps at our energy. And when we don't have the benefit of leaning into those strong voices and influences, we are gone. What I want to leave you with is that the pocket sizes of what we have in terms of money and economics vary from person to person, but we all have influence. And I want to encourage you to be intentional. Be as intentional as possible about your influence and what influences you. Guard it selfishly, because it's going to frame you whether you like it or not. And don't be afraid to be the outliers. We raise our kids to be independent kids, and then somewhere along the line, we want to fashion them to think the same and look the same. And then when they're adults, we want to motivate them to stick out because it's the thing, you know, be an individual, unique voice. But for the greater 12 years when they're in school, we're trying to put them in a sausage machine of actually just thinking the same and being the same. And everybody is unique and everybody is different, and it is challenging. One of the beautiful stories that I have to drive that point home is when I was going to drop my girls off to school, one was nervous. They're nervous. They want to get there in time. They want to do things right. And after I dropped Kazimla off and I'm on my way to sources, like, Mama, can you drive slowly? Can you drive slowly, please? Now she's very confident, even when she's talking nonsense. Can you drive super slowly, please? And I'm like, why? She's like, I just want to see what's going to happen when I'm late for school. Chalk and cheese. One is scared to death that like the bell cannot ring if she's not there yet. And one wants to find out what's going to happen if the bell rings and I'm not there yet. And our challenge is to actually transfer the legacy of our values, which are the same, to different individuals. And that's where really the Holy Spirit is found to be ever-present help, because trust me, they test us to the core. I want to pause here because I've said a lot and I'm conscious of our time, which is 2 minutes to 7. And I know that, I've been given 7 o'clock is kind of like the guide factor. So I want to pause here. And I want to do, just before, as you're formulating your questions, I want you to ask, to prepare to ask questions. Some 7 years ago, I sent an email to close friends and I hid them. So I BCC'd them so they couldn't see who I sent them to. So, and there was only one thing, one line that I was asking them. What would you do if you were not afraid? And the responses I got all those many years ago until now still blow my mind. It still blows my mind that one of the guys said to me, I would sell this expensive BMW that I'm paying so much money for and drive my Golf one. And I'm like, why don't you just do that? And he says, I feel like I can't, because his identity, according to himself, was so wrapped around what he has in his social standing. He felt like he would lose credibility and influence and friends if he was not driving the sleek BMW. And I asked him a simple question, like, do you think less of me? I don't even own a car, but ever since I met my husband, he's been driving this old Almera up until now. He's still driving it. It's been more than 15 years. And we worship Kwalanga, and everyone knows how expensive those cars are. And I said to him, do you think less of me because of the cars that we drive? And now we got 2 cars, but the other one was a second hand. But I love it because we bought it cash. But nothing. And it speaks to our value system. It speaks to our philosophy. And we're quite happy with it because I'm comfortable to host this webinar with you, to chat with you, to chat with anyone, whether I'm talking to a CEO or I'm talking to one of the cleaning ladies at work. I'm comfortable. I don't have to let you know which car I drive to feel authenticated and validated to have a conversation. And that is what materialism and consumerism take away from us at our core. That's why I say is she remembered who she was, and the game changed. The game changer is to know that you don't need anything that you have. Substance is already within you, and you have to walk in that privilege. And that is your frame. That's who you are. And people are drawn, believe it or not, people are drawn into you, not into what you have. And as you form those relationships, and as you navigate those spaces, it becomes more and more apparent that there's so much more inside of us than what is outside. So I promise, let me pause there. I can feel I can go on for another few minutes. I really don't want you to run away the next time that you hear that I'm here, because you think I'm going to be speaking forever. Bali. Bali, I want to hand it to you so that you can facilitate our question and discussion time.
Okay.
I don't know how you want to do it, but do you have any questions? Let me start there. Can you?
Yes, I think people must ask the questions
or
first and then
put up your hand, raise your hand using the hand raising something there, and then Umbali will allow you to unmute yourself as she recognizes you to speak.